Right, okay. Let's do another quick test. Sorry for any of the popping, that's the reason my headset does a pop. And yes. Okay, so far it doesn't sound like you can hear the TV in the background, so that's good. Alright, let's start, and I might eventually end up having to turn my mic off, so let's hope not. So originally I did it with story mode, don't know if I'm going to do that again. Alright, let's... Let's do normal and see how this goes.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spy master and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tunon, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tunon brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Okay, so gonna go for a female? What should we go for? Oh, mine. Tall and skinny, small and skinny, or tall and muscular. Let's go for this one. Skin tone. Let's go for this one. Okay. Portrait. What one should we go for? It's quite a cool one. Let's go cool one. Outside that one. Or that one. Hmm.
Ah, got it. On it. To battle!
Okay, sorry, didn't realise my headset was on. Um. Is my headset working? Bit quiet. Okay. Let's try turning the mic up slightly. How's this sounding? What happens when the North is trying to know what set boosters? Okay, so I think I'm gonna go for this.
Good work.
No,
I'll just hold on to this.
no, but a little sneaky.
Ah, got it.
I'll go for sneaky. Okay, so which tattoo shall we go for? That's quite cool. Oh, that's just the arm. On the shoulder. Okay, that's that one continued. What about that one? No, that's the face. Just the legs. That's quite cool, but just the arms. Okay, that's just the face. I honestly can't see where that one is. Okay, it's the hand. And then that hand. Oh, a tree. And it's just the arm. So far, my favourite is the first one. Ooh, a snake. Oh, it's just the leg. Yeah, my favourite one is this one. Alright, let's go for black primary, red secondary. Yes. Okay, so let's go to next. How did I join the army? No intelligence, sorry, too smart, flight capable, war mage. I might go for war mage. Yeah, let's go for war mage. Okay, so my primary expertise. I will go for dual wielding. And that's my primary. What should I go for? Flurry of blows or slice? I'm going for slice. Next, secondary, I'm going to go for Frost. Cool, thanks TJ. Entropy, Vigor. Ugh, heal, no. Might do shock. Yeah, I'll go for shock spells. Yeah, shock. Alright. Character colours. Actually, I'm going to go back. Previous. Poor mage. I'm going to have shock spells as my primary. Mm, yeah, Shocker's primary. And I'm going to do for dual. I am playing a game called Tyranny. Usually I do Vikings, Wolves and Midgard, but I wanted to give a bit of a mix up today. Played this game before, it's quite good. It's a turn-based game. Which is a type of game I actually really, really like. What symbol should I go for? Ooh, let's go for that. Yeah, let's go for that one. And then I'm gonna have a red. Ooh, I might have a brighter red. There we go. Enter name. Let's go for Wolf. Wolf. Okay. So my finesse, my quickness, and my wits need to be up quite a bit. I have 8 points, so I'm gonna put 2 in you, 2 in you, 2 in you. And then I'm gonna put 1 in vitality and 1 in might. Skills. So control lightning. How many? I've got 20 points. 2 in there. 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 That's gonna bother me. So I'll put you up. I have 7 more points. So. 2, 2. One more in there. One more in there. Actually, put another point in control lightning, because maybe even. Should we do conquest or quick start? I'm gonna do a conquest.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
So this game is only on PC as far as I know. I'm playing it on Steam. So during the conquest, you will decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion of the Tears, shaping the world through which you adventure over the course of the game. Each major choice affects your character and how major factions of the Tears respond to you. Choose your decisions matter. Choose wisely. Okay, the Bastard City. The Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kairos Empire and the Tears. Built upon a natural harbour at the crossroads between Realm City was nexus of commerce. To the Peers, it was the centre of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status is the gateway to the continent. Match your first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' army. Taking the city would send a message to the rest of the Tears, as Kairos' will is insurmountable. One momento. That's better. I can turn the TV down now. So, next. So I have a choice of these two. I have a choice of the Gates of Judgment. In the first major engagement of the war, Kairos' armies crossed the mountains and established a foothold. Okay, that's fine, TJ. I'll talk to you later. I put my phone over there so the feedback loop doesn't start playing up. Alright. The first major engagement. And then I have a choice to infiltrate the tiers. Both armies set their forces to prepare the way. I am going to go for infiltrate. So then I have a choice of either siding with the disabled or conscript enemy fighters for the Scarlet Chorus. Disfavored are... Okay. Okay, remember. Voice. So Scarlet Chorus are the army for the Archon of Secrets, better known as the Voices of Nerat. And the disfavored are led by Graven Ash, who is another member of Kairos' army. So, history would remember the Gates of Judgment as the first battle of the conquest. But the real combat unfolded with the advanced units of both armies preparing for the coming war. The disfavored of the Scarlet Chorus each had a plan to infiltrate the capital city. Which army did you join? So, I could either join the disfavored scouts or conscript enemy fighters for the Scarlet Chorus. So, I am going to go for the Scarlet Chorus. You join the Scarlet Chorus as they raided the villages and small towns, conscripting every able-bodied man and woman into the army. The Voices of Nera emphasized the rewards of conscription and enslavement over wanton bloodshed. Apparently his soldiers needed the reminder. The howling mobs of the Scarlet Chorus found easy pickings among the villages and the frontier towns. Rallying an experienced gang under your control, you flooded the unprotected settlements with a deluge of bloodthirsty soldiers, rounding up the innocent for merciless rites of conscription. The young and the infirm alike received makeshift weapons, and examples were made of all who challenged your forces. Bolstered with fresh recruits, your army gathered strength for invasion to come. Let's turn my phone down. Next. So again, I have a choice of inside agent, which means I found an ally within the city, or containing the fire. The Bastard City's residents fire mages threatened the first leg of the conquest. Oh, I wish I could be the fire mage, but they do have a choice. Kairos' force stops the unchecked power. So your fierce opponents in the Bastard City were the mages of the School of the Wild Wrath. To the barrack to use their powers responsibility, the embroidered practitioners needed to be stopped. How did you trick the hot-tempered mages into their own undoing? Or aboard with the garrison captured your disabled allies. You travelled ahead of Kairos' army and lurked in the shadows of the Bastard City. So that converting one of the locals to Kairos' side would help bring the city to its knees. After all, corruption starts from within. Well-informed Garm Captain? Fast-talking smuggler. So I'm going to go for containing the fire. And I'm going to go for a meeting with the Voices of Nerat. You trick the guild elders into meeting with the Voices of Nerat, Archon of Secrets. The Archon was notorious for his cruel and mysterious interrogation techniques. The mages were never seen again. Or, you lured the hot-headed mages into an ambush, where a legion of disfavored waited to spring the trap. The soldiers were hungry for a chance to subdue the arcane branch of Tyr's resistance. I'm going to go for the Scarlet Chorus. There are a few who... There are few who could describe the horrors of the Archon of Secrets visited upon his enemies during the conquest. Whether the elder mages knew little of the Archon's reputation or met with him out of curiosity didn't matter. Once the flap of the Archon's tent closed, none of them were heard from again, save for a strangled cry of alarm that ended with just as swiftly. Leaderless, the school of the Wild Wrath fell into disorder, and their remaining members were slain by the disfavored or conscripted into the Scarlet Chorus. Betrayal of the Bastard City. Your tactics of infiltration placed you in the Bastard City ahead of the main armies. Your work softened the city's defences for the arrival of Kairos' forces, but you wanted a decisive gesture that would give your allies the meaningful advantage. How did you assist in the fall of the Bastard City? Duel the city marshal. Nice. You challenged the commander of the Bastard City's defences to an honourable fight to the death. The favoured wished to spare the soldiers' lives for battle ahead and civilian lives for occupation. Nice. Oh, fire. Nice. Spreading the word of Kairos, you converted the poor and disaffected into a hidden army of the Scarlet Chorus. Once the dust settled, the army wished to bolster the troops with these sleeper cells. Or spread through the assassination. Keeping to the shadows, you eliminated the leaders of the Bastard City one by one. So, I apologise for my dog. I might go for... I'm going to go for the Scarlet Chorus. It didn't take much to convince the Bastard Cities downtrodden that Kairos was the superior power. You armed them with the weapons and knowledge of a signal you would rise when the time was right. As the armies appeared outside the walls, you ignited the spark that fanned their anger into a full-scale riot. The chaos they spread in Kairos' name weakened the city to such an extent that its inevitable fall was all but a formality. So that is the Bastard City done. So, I have a choice of either taking the Apex or taking Leviathan's Crossing. The Bastard City was settled into a new state of normalcy, with every tower displaying Kairos' banner. Your name was whispered alongside rumours of a decorated career to come. The armies divided into two fronts and migrated south. Tudon sent word that you were to join the next frontier of Kairos' conquest, either as judge and overseer for the settlement of Leviathan's Crossing, or as a war advisor to the armies advancing into the realms of Apex. So, if I did Apex, what do I get? Or Leviathan's Crossings. I want to go for Leviathan's Crossing. Years ago, the Leviathan Lethian the Bold founded a small merchant town at the intersection of ancient old walls. A pact between the settlers and the mercenary company meant that caravans were able to travel without fear of bandits or Bane, and the town thrived in the modest insignificance. Lethian's Crossing drew Kairos' attention for the iron deposits in the surrounding hills. With the region under Kairos' control, the northern smith mages could set up workshops to refine ore and arm the disfavored with the finest weapons in the known world. The Archon of Secrets dismantled the mercenary support with a generous bribe, taking the crossings into a bloodless victory. Tunon dispatched you to travel alongside Kairos' force to bring order to the region. So, I have the iron must flow. You found a clever solution to improve the production of iron weapons and armour. Or the Cult of Syrian. The Archon of Song's powerful and snared mind as the favoured soldier. Syrian, Archon of Song, used the arcane charms to lure locals into joining Kyros's army. As a patroness of the Scarlet Chorus, her efforts were critical to the conscription of new recruits. When a thrall disfavored soldier joined her cult, his company feared that the Archon was growing out of control and needed to be stopped. Disfavored remained, so her choice of destroying her cult. Disfavored demanded that the Archon of Song cease the recruitment practices and that they be allowed to violently subdue her cult of followers. The loss of soldiers was a significant setback to the Scarlet Chorus's conscription efforts. Or, in the Scarlet Chorus's tradition, he sent the latest batch of cultists to the front line of the Apex campaign. Those who survived were welcomed to remain in Kyros's military, and their performance would stand as a testimony to Siren's effectiveness. So I am going to go for this one because I like Siren. She's nice. Ish. So the Scarlet Chorus agreed to transfer Siren's latest recruits to the front lines of the Apex campaign. Your resolution fit their traditional model of conscription, so they considered it a fair alternative. In the weeks to come, more of them returned to active duty than even Siren herself expected, likely owing to their obsessive devotion to the Archon and her enchanting music. So, a red anvil. The forge-bound mage swore allegiance to the Scarlet Chorus, creating strife between the armies. Ancient threats. You protect the city from the attacks of arcane predators. Drawn to the arcane energy of the forges, mystical predators from the nearby old walls began to raid Lethian's crossing at all hours. Both of Kyros's armies reserved their strength and kept the front lines of the war. And the city required protection. You had to delegate the responsibility somewhere. Scarlet Chorus. The largest army, you tasked the Scarlet Chorus with the burden of security. The disfavored took the opportunity to gather their strength. Or, sorry, something popped up. Since the disfavored used the most of the iron that came out Lethian's crossing, it fell to them to stand as the city's vigilant protectors. The Scarlet Chorus enjoyed the necessary reprieve. Though the disfavored were adverse to your ruling, they couldn't argue with the reasoning behind it. They rallied to the streets of Lethian's crossing, patrolling on alert shifts that lasted day and night. Managed to repel several attacks from the predators in districts that would have otherwise suffered great harm. Able to do some good, the disfavored still detested you for keeping them from the battle with their real enemy in the tears. So who controlled the crossing? Tragedy struck when a mercenary hired by the voices of Narak injured a forge-bound artisan, leaving him unable to practice his craft. Tudon ordered that the mercenaries leave the city in the hands of Kyros's more responsible servants. Only a token garrison could be left behind while the armies did return to the front. As the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus showed increasing tension and hostility, I apologise. I am jumbling my words up today. And hostility towards each other, Tudon decreed that it's best that only one force control the crossing. Disfavored or Scarlet Chorus? I'm gonna go for the chorus. Scarlet Chorus flooded Lethian's crossing with overeager and undisciplined recruits. The first few days of occupation, the settlers suffered from rampant theft, murder, and arson. By the following week, the horsemen who sowed chaos for personal gain were dead, strung up by the more disciplined half that took up the reins as self-appointed bosses of Lethian's crossing. The forge-bound continued to mint iron weapons and armour, which Kyros's merchants carted to the favoured garrisons elsewhere in the tiers. Shipments were light and sometimes absent. The Scarlet Chorus's Quartermaster claimed ignorance of the matter. Oops, that might have been a bit of a mistake. So, I have a choice of Stalwart, Velium, or Azure. With the mercenaries expelled and the Alethians crossing under new leadership, Karis' forces congratulated themselves on bringing order to the settlement and guaranteeing protective flow of resources. Over the course of this diversion, the army front advanced further into the tiers. Your skills were needed in the realm of Azure, Stalwart, or the Bellium Citadel. So, Stalwart, with its easy to defend a position of the rich military tradition, the realm of Stalwart was the most formidable realm in the tiers. Velium Citadel. Karis' conquering gaze fell upon the Velium Citadel, its treasures and knowledge, its secrets. Or Azure. Karis dispatched the Archon of Stone to subjugate the nations of Azure. I'm gonna go for Velium. The Velium Citadel was an archive and library of massive scale. Its inhabitants were known as the School of Ink and Quill. The circle of mages that, centuries ago, carved out their own mountainous refuge on the lands unsettled by the other major realms. Legends said that the citadel housed a treasure trove of arcane knowledge. The Overlord spies infiltrated the school and confirmed as much. The time was ripe to send a detachment to the great library fortress, the forces of the scholars, and forces scholars to yield to Kairos. So, songs of ensnarement. Siren's songs ensnared some stealthy sages. Chain of command. A peaceful surrender turned bloody. I'm going to go for Song of Ensnarement. Siren, the Archon of Song, used her power to enthrall enemy mages who crept behind the citadel walls. After Kairos' force rounded up the Archon practitioners, the disfavored began executing the new captives before they could share dangerous knowledge, a crime under Kairos' law. With the Scarlet Chorus. As are the mages, punish the disfavored. You calm the disfavored with a compromise. Sages' mouths will be bound with iron bridles, preventing them from speaking their forbidden knowledge. You punish the disfavored for executing the mages bound to the Scarlet Chorus, ordering that several disfavored soldiers be given to the Archon of Song as their personal bodyguards. The wisdom of the sages and the knowledge of the Velium Citadel were too important to silence. The disfavored balked at entering the Archon's surface, but your ruling left them with no recourse. Archon Siren delighted in having new toys to play with, and promptly enthralled her personal guard. He spotted them in the camp days later, following the new mistress with wide-eyed devotion. Okay, so Spy Master agents. Right of command. A group of enemy mages surrendered to the disfavored, claiming the spies loyal to the voices of Norat. No one in the army could verify the claim. Disfavored ready to interrogate the mages, but the Scarlet Chorus protested, demanding that the prisoners be given to their custody. They couldn't risk the voices of Narat's secrets falling into the wrong hands. Though it meant anger in the Scarlet Chorus, the mages were disfavored property. They will remain in custody while you reviewed their claims. You ignored the disfavored threats, sharply reminding them that they marched as Kairos' orders and not their own whims. The mages were released in the custody of Scarlet Chorus. Oh, by the looks of it, Scarlet Chorus are being naughty. The Scarlet Chorus accepted the mages into their company with gratitude. After secreting them with the tents and out of earshots, you presumed then that a discussion or interrogation followed. When asked about it the following day, the Scarlet Chorus admitted that they sent the mages to the voices Narat with an escort, dispatching them under the cover of night without due authorization. You reprimanded the soldiers for keeping you out of the loop, but there is naught else to be done in the matter. Disgusted by your appropriation of the Scarlet Chorus, the disfavored forces withdrew from the field of battle. Your small attachment now will lack the manpower to take the Velium Citadel. Tulin sent word that the Kairos' patience had run thin. The Overlord would cast an edict of fire on the enemy. The parchment arrived in the slender case of engraved iron. Written on it, the words of a spell powerful enough to destroy the Velium Citadel. You have the choice of when to read the edict. Reading at sunrise would offer your enemies no warning of the devastation to come. You could also wait to sunset, giving them ample of time to flee or make amends. Give no warning, or give 1 day's warning. Opting to give the enemy no quarter, you proclaim the edict of fire at first moment of dawn, granting the enemy no warning of destruction to come. Though the chorus insisted on your actions doomed their spies, the disfavored applauded your actions. Claiming that, or the 1 day warning, claiming that they still had spies within the Citadel, the Scarlet Chorus urged you to warn the mages of the Overlord's edict. Granted their request, you met with the enemy under a blue flag of peace and warned them of their doom, giving the Chorus spies and the enemy a chance to flee. I'm going to go for disfavored. I went for disfavored because I've been quite heavily Scarlet Chorus in this conquest. So I thought, might as well give the disfavored a chance to have something go their way. So, you read that edict as the sun rose behind the citadel. Oh, pardon me. Casting a long shadow in its wake. You were the last person to see that hall of knowledge the moment before the devastation. The earth shook and red-orange light glowed in the foundation of the sprawling citadel. Bubbling up from under the library, a torrent of lava heaves with explosive force, gushing from the windows and between the loose bricks, melting hostile trenches into the surrounding fire. The mages awoke to smoke and fire, for most feared already too late. Only a handful of the bewildering mages escaped the smouldering collapse of the massive library fortress. Kairos' will be done. The armies of Kairos left the devastation of the Velium Citadel in silence. From that day forward, the Tears came to know as the once noble city as the Burning Library. There is undisputed loss of resources, knowledge, and culture and life. But a message has been sent. The Overlord will not tolerate defiance. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into the service once more. You were one of the last to depart from the mountains, and as you journeyed off, you spotted a few campfires in the mountains. They were mere specks, dwarfed by the inferno, the last gaps of survivors, or perhaps looters from the Kairos' armies bored and daring enough to pick through the ashes. Right, let's continue.
The year is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons: crush the Oathbreakers or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
If this is your first visit to the worlds of Tyranny, watch for these windows to help you become familiar with the game. So this isn't my first time, but I'll be leaving the tips on for anybody who would like to have a look at them. Right, let's see what we've got. I will actually turn the audio down slightly. Turn the effects down slightly. And then master volume. But leave the voices up as high as possible. Right, so the Conqueror's Will. Got to travel to this favoured camp. And then we have spell creation, which, let me tell you, is an irritation. Right, let's go for fire. Let's see what I've got. So I already got Searing Palm. And already have Charged Fist. Right, inventory. Let's see what we've got. We have the Edict. Then we have my weapon. And my tunic. Okay, I have no skill points. My talents. Reputation. And my missives. Okay, let's talk to this woman. Kairos the Overlord be praised. When I had the avalanche, I feared the valley was sealed, with you on the other side. The disfavoured warrior claps her gauntlet to her breastplate, a traditional salute of her legion. We were told a Fatebinder was coming, and though our commanders will not say why, it seems obvious. Graben, Ash, and the voices of Narat can agree on nothing. Least of all are battle plans to wipe out the Oathbreakers. I trust you to bring orders from Tunon that will break this deadlock. So I have a choice of all 4 of these. I have a high enough law, which means I can use another answer, which I will be using. Can you hear that hum in the air, the glow that surrounds the rocks? The avalanche is Kairos' magic. The Overlord has sealed the valley. Aurora says, your senses are more than mine, good Famebinder. I do not pretend to know much about such things, but if it was Kairos' magic, and you are here on important business, well, you don't have to be the Archon of Secrets to guess that you're planning here to proclaim an edict. What does Kairos have in store for the enemy? 10 years of festering plague? An edict of twisted bones? So I chose, I come bearing an edict of Kairos. Our soldiers will complete their task or die. The edict is leveled against us. Her eyes widen with fear. Posture slackens. But the Scarlet Chorus prevent us from taking action. Why would the Overlord punish both of... She clears her throat with a sigh. Forgive me, it's not my place to question. We should have conquered the enemy within weeks of arriving in the valley. Delay reflects poorly on all of us. The first instinct is to blame the Scarlet Chorus. No wonder Kairos resorts to edict to enforce order. Yes, well, her eyes shifted aside. There has been little goodwill between our armies, and you are right. When we act as we do, what choice do we give the Overlord? She takes a deep breath, nodding as she exhales. You are right. I should not cast blame so freely, especially not when talking to servants of justice. My apologies. Well, you have travelled a long way. I won't keep you further. I'm sure the Archons will want to hear from you at... Her voice forced silence, attention stepping eastward. Did you hear that? Right. As much as I love this game, I didn't realise how much reading I would have to do. So there might be a possibility of me changing the game in a minute. So just bear with me while I defeat this enemy.
On it. Aye. Take that!
Right. Save the game. Alright, please give me a moment while I change the game.